The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, revised all macroeconomic targets, and there are concerns that managers of the economy will struggle considering the current economic environment. But Deputy Minister of Finance, Abno Asare, says there is no cause for alarm. She has been speaking extensively to my colleague, George Afe.
This discipline started at the beginning of the year when we announced initially a 20% cut, and then in March, with the Russian-Ukraine war and the slow recovery of the world from the COVID-19 pandemic, then Cabinet asked that we do an additional 10%. And so in all, we did about 30%. We introduced cuts in our expenditures, especially the discretionary ones. And you can all see that it is as a result of that we have seen some containment in the expenditure numbers. Usually around this time, our expenditures are always above the targeted amounts. But clearly today you saw that there was some containment. Though we said that for Q1, Q2, we're hoping to have spent about 62 billion on expenditure. You saw us doing it within 61 billion. And then you saw us, we have revised the growth numbers. Clearly, we all know around the world and everything, because of these two clear issues, growth rate around the world has been revised, and Ghana is no exception. And so that is what, but as I said, we're going to make sure that we address the pertinent things that at least will churn out some growth, because clearly we also need to, put out things that will help us grow the economy, because we believe in that one with the Obatampa program, that's a Ghana Cares program. We are hoping that we will be able to start the You Start program in September, where we will engage a number of the youth to help them, one, build their capacity, and also to help them give them something to start up their own businesses. We believe that will also revive the economy. Again, we also saw us making sure that we cushion workers against all those forces that have affected workers in a way, with the 15% COLA that we granted workers. And at the same time, government is continuing with some of its flagship programs that we believe will help, one, make sure that nobody is left behind, and that will, in the long run, improve on our security issues. Because when you come out with inclusive initiatives, no one is left behind, and everybody feels a part and parcel of it, and so it helps build the economy, and also in terms of our security.
Let's come to this expenditure containment. Was it more of, let me use the word, force majeure, because revenues are not good, IMF program, or you think that really this is the time to be prudent to the expenditure?
George, we began this program way before we announced negotiations with the IMF. From the beginning of the 2022 budget, we realized that our debt levels had gone up, and so we needed to bring it to a sustainable level. And we asked ourselves, what can we do to make sure we bring these debts to a sustainable level? Increase revenue and adjust our expenditures to fit into what we do, or what we are able to raise through debts and then through taxes. And that is what we began, and that is what is bearing the fruits, the fruits you are seeing now.
Isn't it a big gamble? Some would ask that there was an opportunity for you to do supplementary budget because of some revenue that has come in. How are you going to fund COLA? I know the minister talked about it. How are you going to fund the interest payment? Isn't that a big gamble, Honorable?
Let me tell you, like I said, the 30% cut in expenditures, in discretionary expenditures, brought us some savings. And that is what we are using to prop up the increase in interest payments, and at the same time the COLA amount that government has committed to. So it has nothing to do with we taking advantage of any supplementary. We are still within the appropriation of 145 billion Ghana cedis, and that is what we are doing, and that's how come we did not come up with any supplementary.
What is going to happen to the extra petroleum revenue that has come in? There have been several arguments that use it to cushion us and all the rest.
Our revenue numbers for 2022 is 100.5 billion. And we are not there yet. So you cannot see it as a win for... Yes. we still have some of our revenue numbers, handles not doing so well. We just passed our exemptions bill just last Friday. The fees and charges that we were hoping would have begun at the beginning of the year also got passed about a week or two ago. So we haven't seen a windfall in revenues. What we have seen, we are still within, and we are hoping that come the end of the year, we have revised the numbers to 96 billion, and we hope to meet that target.
There are some who are saying that they are willing to pay, but the rates are still high. Is this something that government will look at as you sought to bring some relief to workers with respect to the income tax reliefs as well? Would something be looked at when it comes to the e-levy about revising the rates downwards or taking a second look at the tax handle to bring some relief to workers who still think that in times like this, whilst government is cutting down expenditure, there will be some impact on some sectors in terms of growth? Is that on the table to look at it?
With every government policy, after some time, it is looked at, it is reviewed. But as we speak now, the e-levy was passed late. We were hoping to have begun that in February. We began in May. And then we did lots of stakeholder consultations, and all these consultations were factored into the final product of the e-levy. So currently, as we speak, we gave some huge exemptions, and that in a way has also affected the inflows that are coming in. But government says, let us see how it goes within this year, and then government can come up with any reviews that it wants to review.
What went into this projection? I mean, does it mean that the harvest season is not going to impact it, and even what you're doing now would not impact on inflation?
George, there are lots of factors that are coming into play when it comes to inflation. Some are things that we can manage ourselves. Others are things that it's not within our control, like the prices of fuel on the world markets. It's not within our control. But what government can do, we don't want to be overambitious, but what we can do is to contain it. You heard the finance minister saying that we are thinking of coming up with some form of food haulage where we help the farmers cut their goods, their food to the urban centers, and we believe that in a way would help reduce the cost of food in a way. And then also, let's all admit that currently, as we speak, inflation is around 29.8%. So to come up with anything other than what we have come up with will not be sort of realistic, looking at the circumstances in which we find ourselves now. But like I said, government is putting all the measures in place to make sure we try and achieve some growth, and that would, in the long run, affect things positively.
One critical thing has to do with investor confidence and also the business community as well. Some were worried about your rising debt. You've tried to rein in. Do you think that what you've done with this media estimates would deal with that challenge about the uncertainty and about the investor confidence?
I believe that certainly it tells the investors that, yes, we said we were going to embark on some contraction, and clearly in the middle of the year, they have seen it. So whatever we say we're putting in place to boost investor confidence, and that is what we are doing. I'm sure they'll be very, very happy. We are hoping that our revenue numbers will go up, and we are also hoping that we will contain expenditures and be able to meet our critical payments. And for them, that is what brings them the confidence that when the time is due, we'll be able to meet our critical payments. And so that is what we are working on.